It's Wednesday night and you're bored as shit. You've got nothing better to do, and you love your rugby league. So it's time to get online for League of Inches.
There we have it, folks. It is officially the League of Inches show. It's a Wednesday night, and if you are bored as shit, please get on, chat some footy with us. We absolutely love having you all part of the League of Inches family, part of the League of Inches community. Quickly get into the introductions before we get busy. I did tease it in the Instagram stories. There is a massive out tonight, and one of the crowd favorites, Jesse, is in off the bench, off the Supercoach bench. So first of all, Jesse, welcome. We do currently have a bet in place how many times you can refer to Supercoach in this episode. I've got him at probably a 6.5 line. I've got him on overs for that at the moment. So we'll see how we go. But Jesse, are you nervous to see what you can do here?
No, not at all. I'll be definitely going overs on that too. 6.5. I was like, fuck, you're a bad betting man. You're going to lose that pretty quick. But yeah, overs for sure. I am too much Supercoach brain, mate. That's all it is. But obviously this is footy related, so I'll try and wind back a little bit for it.
We'll see how you go. And look, your long locks brothers here in Jez. First time you're both on a show together, but seriously, the resemblance, I'm starting to I see it. Hang on. Hey, before Jez, you say anything, we've got Adam is missing tonight, and now he wanted me to say sort of like he's a big bad
Adam,
man.
put your phone down at date night. Get off it.
The truth is, date night has now come first for Adam. He is officially loved up. Good on him. Happy man. But the truth has to be told. He has ditched the League of Inches Wednesday night community for date night. Unheard of. He has always been a rugby league man. So this might be the one. We might be off to the Adam Martin wedding in no time. But Jez, back to you because you are part of the show tonight. Crook, Kid and all, you have put the League of Inches community not first because the kid is asleep now, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm just checking the monitor. He's still asleep, little legend. So he's doing well. Hopefully we can overcome this sickness soon. But yeah, fresh haircut, school photos next Monday. So that's why Jesse and I are bringing the looks because you two others don't. So someone's got to.
Sorry, boys.
We're going to hide
hide
under the hat here. So, guys, Jez has the baby monitor there. If he does duck off at times throughout the show, you know the exact reason why. Mika, you are a very, very... This is the happiest I've seen you, and I think it has something to do with the jingle finally being out there and everything working finally fine for this show.
It was pretty cool to hear, actually. I was very happy with how it came out. So, yeah, that was fucking sick.
He seriously, he can't. He loves it. He said he's going to play for me live for a show. I will be there with bells on. Andrews, you're already getting into Adam here. He's already saying how good it is to not have Adam in the show. Look, you two need to just go and sort it out, run it straight at each other, and just see who comes out the other end. But before we get into the first point to talk about, there is an elephant in the room that me and Jesse just want to sort of step away from here. Let Mika and Jez have a chat about things. We saw on the Sunday evening show that got released on Monday, Jez called Mika out. A bit of dirty tactics, he believes, for the tipping competition, that Mika actually changed his tip from what he predicted earlier. Now, Adam did raise the point that it actually cost him a point, didn't actually gain him a tip. So it actually bit him on his own ass. But Jez, while you've got Mika here, do you want to just raise it within your issues you've got with him?
Oh, mate, I hate people that just flop and flop around. So stick to your guns, stick to your choice, and you would have got the point, you idiot.
But on that, I also swapped to the Dragons when Foran was ruled out and got a point for that.
Oh,
yeah, I don't like that.
Bastard.
No?
Pick and stick. The old pick and stick.
So that's assuming you do your tips on Tuesday when team names. What if you just do your tips right before kickoff for every game?
Nah, you got to have him in. You got to have him in before the first game of round one.
No.
And that's locked.
ESPN tipping that, baby. Right up under
kickoff. Isn't that like Supercoach? You can't change your team before.
Yeah,
when are you locked in Supercoach?
Rolling lockout.
I don't play Supercoach.
Done.
I know, I was just annoyed because I got the first two. and then I got none for the rest of the round. So
yeah, I only ended up getting 3 as well.
It's rubbish.
To be honest, it was a very difficult show for Jez on Sunday. It was a big credit to him for coming on. And
Smashed
dealing
pillar
with
to
the
post
Knights
by Adam
bashing.
Martin.
So,
Yeah, whatever. Go the Knights.
look, I want to something before we get into the footy talk. I just want to talk about something that stood out for us all this week. It can be footy related. It not doesn't have to be footy related. I'm happy to lead. Take the first hit up for this one. I was away at the last few days. Caught a flight. I know lots of people have spoken about this in the past, but my big thing with flights is when the plane lands and the seatbelt light goes off. You got the bloody 10 or 15 people that just jump up like they're Usain Bolt coming out of the bench,
least
coming
not
out of their
applauding.
bloody. No, well, they come out of their seat like they're about to rush off the plane, then they just stand there for another 10 minutes. You're thinking, was that necessary? That 5 seconds of almost doing your hemis, blowing them out, to just quickly get your bag and just stand there? Like, what is going
worse,
on there?
though?
But
What's worse, standing up or clapping after the plane lands? What's worse?
Oh yeah, that's
It's got to be clapping.
oh,
It's got to be clapping. The
oh,
clapping thing just gets me fucking riled up. Hey, I'm like, what are you clapping for? Like, we all made it.
Plane
It's
lands
fine.
and
Everyone does this. It's all good. Pilot, fucking fantastic job. Good landing. It's like, fuck.
well done. Just quickly, Marcus, we are not in. I'm not personally not interested in that fight, but let us know the results. Who wins out of that huge boxing match that's taking place tonight? But anyway, Mika, you got something that stood out for you this week, either footy related or not?
Yeah, I'll go not. It's probably a little bit dark, but it was a big moment for me in the week. I actually have had a lot of days away from home this week with work and stuff, and it was also the 12-month anniversary of a friend of mine who committed suicide 12 months ago. So I just want to leave. I don't want to get into too much detail, bring it down too much, but I'll leave you with this. Sometimes the only difference between people that fall into a dark place and people who fall into a dark place and get back out of it are the people and support around them. So when you're going through tough times, don't be scared to talk. Stick close to the ones you love because they will guide you back to the light. And if you are having trouble, please talk to someone, anyone, Beyond Blue, Suicide Callback Line, Lifeline, Black Dog, any professional service. Don't be scared to talk. Don't be scared to bring it up and dig yourself back out of that hole with the help of the people around you.
Here for you, Mika. Well said. Second that as well. And honestly, guys, even if you want to just reach out, talk a bit of footy or something, the page is always open. If there is anyone out there either watching, listening, at any point, if you want to chat some footy to get your mind off things, we are always here to have a chat. Or even if you just want to open up about some personal stuff, we're all human. We're all happy to lend a hand to some of our League of Inches community. Jesse,
Yes.
what about yours? We don't want to mention too much, Super Coach, but what the F was that? What
Well,
was that?
that's yeah. You want to talk about the week that was? It was absolute dog shit for tipping, for Super Coach, for fucking everything footy related, pretty much. It was a great week of footy, but it was just fucked. Like no one was picking anything that happened. Super Coaches especially. I think I'm ranked about 80,000 right now. It's a
Beating
long
you.
shot from my triumph from last season, but no, fucking absolute dog. So it's a long way to go, and it's you can say that about the season in general, but yeah, just upsets at all. And I was putting my tips in this week, and I'm thinking, fuck, I've just done it again. I'm gonna fuck it all over again. I got to start picking against the grain this time. But yeah, no, we'll see if I go 3-8 again. So that'll be a fun
And I
one.
know you love to say it. So just for those who don't know yet, what did you finish last year overall in Super Coach?
Oh, I forget, bro. You remind me all the time. You keep reminding me, so you may as well, go on.
14th
Yeah,
overall.
it was all right.
Ridiculous.
Hey, you
So,
two, break this up. You're recording that next, all right? Break this up.
Yeah.
Come on.
yeah, sorry.
We can talk
Sorry,
Super
guys.
Coach for
Jez,
hours. Go on,
what
Jez.
about your week? Your week that was?
Well, I got over my depressing start on the Thursday with the Knights getting walloped. School's been pretty hectic. Kids been unwell, but had a nice family trip away on the weekend. So if you haven't been to Fosterton Curry, get up there. There's a fantastic little holiday park up there. Cheap as chips, but it has absolutely everything. I jumped on the giant pillow. Now, if you know what I'm talking about, it's this humongous pillow that they bury in the sand, and it's like a trampoline. I think you have one on the Gold Coast too. Dude, it is the best thing ever. Flips galore. I just loved it. Highly recommend getting yourself on the pillow and having a jump.
You got to send me a
How
link to
good's
that.
that?
I've never heard of it.
The best.
Oh,
Looking
shout
up
out
right now.
Crazy Praying Mantis leading our official League of Inches tipping comp, I believe. So 6 out of 8 last week. That is fantastic. You either have no idea what you're doing, so credit to you,
Nah,
or
she's
you're
done
a
well, man.
rugby league
Yeah,
gazelle, and you didn't tell us your
she's a weapon.
secrets. So
Yeah,
uh,
killing it. Top of the which one? Supercoach Experience Group, a couple others just frying at the moment. So yeah, she's
goodness
good.
me.
Seems like a good tipper as well. So not bad. Flying.
Well, anyway, let's get into some. I feel like we're still talking about this a few weeks later. Spencer Lenu, 8-week suspension has been given out. First time for us to openly discuss the fallout from that, the result of the judiciary hearing. Do we believe 8 weeks is fair enough, boys? I'm going to go Mika first for this one. He's been pretty vocal about this one.
I only had one comment online and it had like 250 replies. It was crazy. Yeah, I think it's probably pretty spot on. Like that's about a third of the season. There is no place for it, and I think the way he carried himself after the game had a big part of it for me. Like the fact that he showed no remorse. He knew he said it. He should have just come out in that post-game interview and said, "Yeah, look, I'm sorry." Like and dealt with it quicker. And the rugby league NRL should have dealt with it quicker too. There was no reason to wait till this Tuesday. They should have done it last Tuesday. So I think it's about spot on. I think players will probably, hopefully, use it as a wake-up call, and we shouldn't see any of that shit in the game anymore.
Yeah, Jesse, you are a Roosters fan, so you might have a polarizing opinion on this, or you might just go double down on the suspension and say how much you agree with it.
I think it's fair. 8 weeks, Mickey made the point, it's a long time. It sets a big precedent too. Like, I don't imagine that there's going to be many people willing to just throw some slanders out there, knowing that they're at least going to cop 8 weeks at a minimum now, because you can't go any less than that. I feel like if it starts to happen more and more, you're going to see that creep up and up to a point where you might just have players just banned for the season for it and just really try and stamp it out. Obviously, that's massive, but, they want it out of the game. It's going to, things will have to start going eventually. But yeah, look, he was a dickhead. It's not Penrith, you know what I mean? Like, he's playing for the Roosters. He's got to hold the level of, professionalism about himself at the same time. So obviously Penrith are absolute weapons, but things slide through Penrith. I used to live very close. It's just Penrith, Mount Druitt. You can say what you want, but
Hey,
it's different. Hey, come on, nothing
you
wrong
don't
with
you
it.
don't know much about this Wednesday show, but Penrith fans
Jesse's
do not
bringing
like
the Adam
Wednesday
Martin
show.
vibes.
Nah, look, I'm all
Yeah.
about it, man. Like, not obviously not Spencer, but Penrith. Like, I'm a big fan of the club. So, yeah, I just think for his first game to be doing that and copping the suspension he did, I don't know. I feel like he's fried a lot of the supporters. It's going to be hard for the club to, have a bit of trust about him for going from this, considering how early and how much he didn't prove himself at all. So, yeah, it's a bit of a rough go, but I reckon, yeah, 8 weeks, he won't be doing that again. So.
No, he won't be. Keep the comments flying in, guys. I will start getting them up on the screen as we go as well about each talking point that we have. Jez, we have no Adam Martin tonight, the polarizing one. I'm not asking you to be a polarizing figure, but I'm going to start leaving you to last for a lot of these because you're now the senior citizen of this group. You're the experienced one of the League of Inches gang.
Well, I am 33 this year, so I appreciate the comment. I think
Me too.
as we've all said, it does set a precedent for the NRL. Nothing can be smaller than 8 weeks. If they want to stamp it out, we are going to get to points where players are going to be banned. Just straight up, you're done. That's it. If they want to be serious about it, that's where it's going to go. It's hard when you've got, though, contradicting points of views from people of colour. So us 4 white blokes, it's really hard to comment on stuff like this. We can say it's wrong, it's bad, and we don't like it, but that's as far as we can get into it. Then you've got Anthony Mundine getting on his socials and saying, no, it's between a black fella and a black fella, so it's okay. You're like, well, no, that's not okay. You can't be, it doesn't matter what colour skin you are, a racial slur is a racial slur. And that's when Jonathan Thurston comes out and he said, well, 8 weeks isn't long enough. He wanted 12 minimum. He really wanted the NRL to set a precedent on this one. So that's when it's really hard and super confusing for kids as well growing up that Anthony Mundine can say, no, if it's a black fella or a black fella, and even that's not politically correct to call them that, it's okay. But if that was a white fella, then, well, that's not okay. Both of them are not okay. And we need to get that very crystal clear that that is not okay. When it comes to him reacting to what happened, so Spencer Leniu himself, I say it to my kids at school, own it, fix it, let's move on. But if he can't do the first thing, which is go, you know what, I stuffed up, I'm sorry, then you're setting yourself, you're digging that hole ever so deeper. So own it, work together, let's fix it, and let's move on with it. But he kind of stumbled at the first hurdle there. That's my 2 cents on it anyway.
I think you're spot on with it. I want to attack this. I believe 8 weeks, fair enough. And as a few of you have already said, that's now what the NRL have said is sort of the mandate for what things are the punishment's going to be. So basically, look, we've heard a lot of ex-players that come out and media and that now talk about now saying it's too much and blah, blah, blah. It's said between mates. It's always said all that sort of jazz. But we just got to be better. Like, okay, if that's said between your friends group and that's what you've all agreed upon is okay to say, it's no worries. That's what you guys have all agreed and your mate of 5, 6 or whatever it is, say that's it. They're not mates, clearly. It was against each other on a football field. It was said, and like he's saying he's not educated enough to know that it was a racist slur. Come on. Look at the world we live in now. Like, come on, I'm not buying it. Like, there's people out there that want to buy that and go, oh, we just need to teach the players more and that. No, be better. Like, I don't live in America and I know not to go over there and start blurting my mouth about certain things just because it's just not what you do. Like, you can't do it. The other thing I will mention on this before we move away, because we've spoken about it for so long now, I'm actually getting a bit over the whole Spencer stuff. He said the wrong thing. He's been punished. Move on. But the status that was out there, that the photo and the comments that have been, it's still rolling in. And I'm actually getting a bit disgusted with a lot of the comments that keep coming in on the status about there's still monkey emojis and that coming in. It's like, guys, just be better. Like we said it last week on the show, just please be better. Like it's clearly now, it's been done, it's been said. It's a very polarizing topic. I get it. The end of the story, end of the day is Ezra's found it offensive what has been said, and many people with the background that Ezra does, Indigenous people find it offensive. We all know it. Just cut it. That's it. That is enough. We don't need to keep going on with it. Don't need to keep arguing amongst each other on the page, etc. I love that we're always open to discussion. We're always open to having everyone talk about their opinions. That's what the page has always been about. But I think it's time to drop that. Like the emojis and stuff, it's just getting a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the closing point would be someone else doesn't get to decide if someone else is offended or not. Whether you think they need to be harder or tougher or whatever, you don't get to decide that for someone else. So no matter what the situation. Yeah.
No, I agree. And keep having your say, guys. Get to some towards maybe the end of the show when we go back to that sort of point if we need to. Hopefully we don't have to. Next point is the Dragons and Zach Lomax. This is a marriage that just doesn't seem to be working. Zach Lomax, for mine, had his best game in probably 2 years last weekend for the Dragons. And on the wing, a position he clearly does not want to play. But the thing I found funny was he just did not look happy. He was scoring tries, making breaks, having the game of his life, and he still just did not look happy. Like, it was like someone said it I think it was on Sunday. I think maybe Jez did. It's like the Ben Hunt role has been reversed, and he's turned into Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt's put a mask on. He's turned into Zach Lomax. So it looks clear as day Zach does not want to be at that club. But the Dragons have now halted it and said, you'll be at the club for now. We'll open discussions back up down the track. We'll see how things are. That's probably because they want to just get off to a winning run after being under pressure early on about the wooden spoon, etc. I can probably understand it, but it'd be interesting how Shane Flanagan handles this one. Jez, where are you at with this this marriage? The breakdown looks like it's looming, but just how long does the Dragons hold on to this?
I think it's going to be right around the corner, especially if that rugby thing has any legs in it. It's really funny watching Zach play. It's like he had to remind himself to be sad. So, like, he'll do something great and then be like, oh, hang on, there's cameras on me. Oh, I don't like what I'm doing. He had to remind himself to be upset about the situation, even though he was playing extremely well. So you're right. It's the comments that I made the other night. It's definitely going to be another Ben Hunt situation where week in, week out, he's going to produce some really good games, but then have to pretend to be really upset about it, even though he's playing in probably his position.
I agree, Jesse. Um, he looks out of place. There's a couple of clubs circling. Apparently, one of yours is the Sydney Roosters, your club. He wouldn't look too bad in that jersey, would he?
No, he wouldn't. And it kind of makes sense hearing about all the stuff that's going on with Manu and, just the lack of wingers and stuff that they've got. And obviously, like, if he doesn't want to play on the wing, then fucking don't play such a good game. Like, you're not really doing yourself any favors to go, oh, I want to go back to fullback. Or I want to go in the centers when you have an absolute blinder on the wing, as if Flanagan's
Yeah,
going
just
to be
let me
like,
kill it
all right,
first.
yeah, go on then. You just fucking killed everyone and you made yourself that spot. You made it yours. Let's just change it because you're not happy about it. I don't think you put him anywhere he's going to be too happy. It's the Dragons after all. But yeah, man, he fucking nailed it. Like, he did so well that game. And you're right, Jess, as well. He has to like put the mopey face on. It's like, come on, man, just celebrate. You're killing it. So yeah, if it gets any
100%.
bit of traction, I reckon he probably does leave. But I don't know. Like, they're pretty notorious for not letting players go when they want to. Obviously Ben Hunt's still there. It's a fucking miracle that he's still there. I don't know how he's managed to not, find an escape route somehow, just dig a hole in the ground. But yeah,
And now
I
he looks
understand.
happy.
Yeah, I don't know.
He looks
Something's
like
come
he's
around.
going to stay at the club for another 5 years.
Wollongong's a lovely place. But yeah, I don't know. I reckon he stays for the season and finds something else. But yeah, I wouldn't put it past him for him to leave. But yeah, see what he does. He's a quality player.
Mika, and as the old man has said, Lomax would look great in the blue and gold. They are obviously the other club that has been in early discussion with the Dragons who have hosed it down. Are you a fan of Zach Lomax wearing the blue and gold?
Yeah, absolutely. I reckon he'd slot straight into that opposite side centre that Penasini doesn't have. I find it interesting. I was watching one of the footy shows on the weekend. They were talking about why he's not playing fullbacks because he was moved due to a lack of speed or something. I find it interesting that he's now on the wing. Like the wing is also about speed. So that's why they put him in the centres apparently, because he wasn't fast enough to be a fullback, but they wanted his ball skills. So, yeah, look, I don't think he'll end up staying. If they get that other player thereafter from Union, they'll let him go. I think they're just playing it smart by not letting someone go without filling the spot, which some other clubs have made the mistake of in the past. I think most players that want to release get it. The only one who really hasn't is Ben Hunt, and that's because the Dragons were so desperate for a half. They absolutely could not let him go. He has carried that club on his back for years. So I just think it's a matter of time before Lomax is somewhere, and I do hope it is the blue and gold.
Oh, Jesse, there's a question for you.
Yeah.
Jake Wright is a huge fan. Do you only own one shirt?
Oh, that's a classic.
Oh,
No,
that's a
honestly,
good
and
one.
I don't. Yeah, that's funny actually. I do like
This
this
is his
shirt. I've
Wednesday
got a
night
few.
shirt.
Yeah, I've got a few on rotation, and I don't plan it. And then every now and then I think, fuck, did I wear this shirt for the last one? Do I need to grab something different? It's a lot of black. There's a lot of black, and then occasionally you'll find this one or my pink one. There's a couple stragglers about. Yeah, I don't know. It's a favorite. It's subconscious. I don't wear it all the time, trust me, but that's hilarious.
Jakey, thanks for the support as well. That's a great spot. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
And I'm on the
Nah,
podcast every time with him.
I've made the mental note before. I'm like, oh, I think I wore this shirt recently, but he's caught me out now. Fuck. Need to get new
That's
wardrobe.
right.
That's
We all
funny.
wear the same shirt every week as well. We just get away with it because it's League of Inches printed. So
Yeah, true.
we can just go. I've
Once in
got a
the
few
wash.
of them in the wardrobe. Yeah, Paul. Look, money. He is on a lot of money, so that'll be the sticking point with getting rid of him. I think Dragons will have to pay at least a quarter, if not maybe half of his contract to if he departs. But that'll probably be the sticking point about which club he goes to and who has the most amount of money and when it happens. Jez, I'm going to throw this one to you. Lomax is killing it come Origin time. Would you select him in the blue side? Now, he's been spoken about over the years as a fringe Origin player and never really been in form when the time's right. But if he can keep this form up, you never know.
But who's he replacing there? So you've got
Yeah.
Turbo
What,
and
Adokar?
Latrell in the centres at the moment.
He'd be on the
So
wing,
is he going to
maybe.
play over
Put him
there?
on the wing.
Stick him on the wing where he loves playing? Stick him on the wing?
Who are our current wingers? Adokar and who?
Uh-oh.
I can't remember.
Toe.
Brian
To'o.
To'o.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Adokar won't be there this year. Surely not. We don't want to get into too much
you'd
Origin
like to think
chat,
that
but there's no way.
Adokar, based on form, would not be there unless he does something miraculous at the Bulldogs. But He was lucky to get his selection last year.
Didn't
That's
he
not a
miss?
bad chat. You'd have him in the squad. You'd have him in the squad, but I don't know. If we have a full strength Blues side with everyone available, I don't think he's in there. Not on the park anyway.
Oh, I'm getting caught out here. Mika, do you have a shirt? I thought I sent you a shirt.
I do not have it. I do not have it. I think you spoke about it, but you just must have forgot.
I've got to get him a shirt. I'm
I
actually
feel
in
like
the
I need to
middle
have
of
an
talking
outfit
to a
change
few.
or something.
I'm in the middle of talking to a few people. Some big things on the way, guys. So keep an eye out or an ear out for that.
Joe makes a really good point in the comments there. He says, "Who's going to pay $800K for a non-Origin centre?"
Yep.
Yeah.
That's that's the thing. Like,
Hang on.
if we're being fair income, is he worth 800K? I think Dragons paid massive overs.
Paying overs again. Yeah.
You don't want to have an 800K winger either, so it's not ideal.
And an unhappy one at that.
He's not doing himself any favors, is he?
No,
Looks sad.
not really. Just be
Oh,
moping.
Lukey boy. No, Adam. Good to see you've listened. Yeah, look, the amount of hate messages that I've received, I've had enough of them. Hopefully, we'll have a week off of that because we all know Jesse is the favorite here, and he just gets nothing but love. It's ridiculous. It actually makes me sick at times. The amount of
I don't know what
support
to
he
tell ya.
gets. A lot of mates and a lot of family on this page, obviously
Good on
following Jesse.
Bless them all.
A big game coming up tomorrow night, guys. The Broncos versus the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Whoever loses this will go to 0-2 to start the year, which is not ideal for two teams that were probably highly fancied to be at least, I'd say, a top 6 team, if not a top 4 team for both. I know a lot of people out there have put the Rabbitohs in their top 4 predictions as well. Myself, no, but I've got them at least in the top 8. A bit of pressure. You do not want to start the year being heavily favoured in this competition, 0-2. Mika, I'll throw to you first up here. Let's say, who do you think would be under the most pressure if they are to lose this game tomorrow night?
Brisbane, absolutely, because they're the grand finalists. I think most people will be tipping Brisbane as well. They'd be favourites given form and South's not making the 8 last year. It's funny we talk about South so highly, even though they're a team that weren't in the finals. I definitely think it's worse off for Brisbane, but I think both teams can recover from 0-2. So I don't think it's panic stations yet.
Or the big panic stations. Don't worry, we'll get there in the next few weeks. There'll be a few teams at panic stations button already all aboard the panic stations. Just don't
Newcastle Knights.
Hang on. I'll protect Jez this week.
I was about to say, hey Martin, why don't you go and get
That's the first time you've ever timed that right.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was gold.
That was great. Jesse, are you with the Broncos having the most pressure if they are to lose tomorrow night, being up there at Suncorp?
Yeah, I would say so. The Rabbits can kind of still get away with not having a full strength backline yet, and just run with excuses for now. And I think it's sort of valid at the same time. Broncos got a full strength side, grand finalists, coming off a loss that, they didn't look fantastic. They didn't look bad, but, it was a bit scrappy. And you expect that out of round 1, but I'd be very surprised to see the Broncos lose this time. I just think there's just too much going on at the Rabbits at the moment. Obviously losing Jairo, whatever they're doing with the back line, no White and their wingers are gone. So it's a bit messy, but I think Arrow is a loss. It's just interesting to see how they come back with it because, there hasn't really been too much talent getting thrown around that side really, but they kind of make do with what they've got. So I think it'll still be scrappy, but I'd be very shocked if the Rabbits win. But stranger things happened last week.
I will as well. And I said it last week. The Vegas games, I thought the Broncos copped it the most from that shorter field. It really hampered the way that they play their footy. They got really impacted by that shorter field. And you could just tell Reece Walsh on his wraparounds that he does, those big sweeping moves, just ran out of room basically straight away. As soon as he had the football, put on a couple of meters pace and just thought, oh, crap, I'm about to get pushed out here. I better stop this. So thought that really hampered the Broncos' style of play. We all know what it is. It's up to teams being good enough to stop that when the fields are a bit wider, a bit more open style footy. Or the other thing you can think about is just that people are starting to work the Broncos out. That was their big focal point in attack. It has looked like from the trials and round 1, they haven't really changed too much when it comes to their attacking style. Teams will work a lot on the Broncos now. They're not an underdog sort of team. A lot of teams will work them out. It's up to them to get better. So I do kind of agree with the Broncos shout. The thing with the Bunnies, and Jez, I'll get your opinion first. You might have the Bunnies as yours, or do you have the Bronx?
No, I had the Broncos under the most pressure for this game. Definitely. Just being a home game, being full strength, and against a weaker Bunnies side that hasn't really been able to put anything together. So, yeah, I've got the Broncos under the pressure here but I see them winning. I see them winning at home. You got to get up for that.
Look, I'll go a bit different. I'll go the Bunnies because for mine, and it's sort of along the lines of here what Andrew has sort of mentioned, and the pressure that came from last year, how they just quickly fell off the platform, basically just fell off the edge and just nosedived out of finals contention after leading the competition. I think there's a bit going on at South Sydney still. I don't think everything is as rosy as it kind of seems, and that's coming from last year. The way that sort of all fell apart. The coach is still there, and from the rumors that were around, a lot had to do with the coach, and he's still there. So it doesn't seem like the problem's entirely gone away. You can't sit there and tell me Sam Burgess was the issue. There's no doubt about it. And Mark, you raised that point. Sam Burgess was right about South, possibly. And there is rumors that he might be back sooner than we think, taking over that head coaching role. We never know.
He's doing well overseas, so
yeah. He's a coach in the making for sure. I think he'll be back within the next year or two, whether it's at South Sydney or not. Part of me kind of hopes it is just because of that nostalgic factor. It'd be great to see him there as a head coach, and I think he'll do wonders for the club. But he'll install that sort of hard edge that I think South Sydney need again. I think a lot of people don't talk about their pack. I think it's been very it's not underrated, but they're not living up to their hype at all. That forward pack, they just continually get bashed. It feels like even from last year, they're never really on top in games. A lot of their back line are just trying to get out of their own end and do the work. If they're to lose tomorrow night and it's a decent defeat with the players that they've got out still, Cody Walker doesn't look 100%. I'm very, very worried that the Bunnies won't make the 8. And I'll already say, I know it's a very, very early in the competition. They'll have a number of weeks to get back. But I think the pride for the Bunnies and the fact that they didn't make the changes that I think they should have made at the end of last year with JD, Demetrio as coach, they might take too long to make those decisions this year, and it might affect the Bunnies for this year, especially, and maybe next year, because then the new coach coming in might not be able to get the team he wants from next year. So, Andrew, no, you know what? I'll mention Supercoach here from a Supercoach draft perspective. No, Cody didn't turn up to Vegas, so thanks heaps. It cost me my freaking matchup, but anyway, that's it. Actually, a quick one, boys. Who wins this one? Are we going the Broncos because basically full strength Rabbitohs? Are we giving them no chance? I've got the Broncos winning this by about 16, 20.
So
yeah,
I've got 'em.
I've got them
at
13
16.
plus.
I'll go 1-12, but I think they'll win. Broncos.
Yeah,
I'm
watch the
excited to
Rabbits
see the
win.
battle
Though.
of the fullbacks because you've got two different style of fullback happening here with Reece Walsh being light on his feet, being energetic, and then you've got the polar opposite in Latrell Mitchell, who just bowled people over. So I think that's going to be a really fun little dynamic to see play out.
Yeah, I think you're right there, and it sort of speaks volumes at the current level of fullbacks in this competition, because I think each and every week we're going to have a couple of really big matchups involving the fullbacks, and that's just how good they are at the moment. And we're spoiled for choice tomorrow night. That, as you said, Latrell versus Reece Walsh, that's worth admission alone to see those two. Because one thing I'll give credit for Latrell 2 weeks ago, I actually thought he was the best South player on the park by some way. He actually turned up and looked like he wanted to play. And we said in the off season, I think all of us have said at different points, whether it's a super coach or it's a normal footy-related podcast, that a lot of pressure on Latrell this year to turn up and actually look like he wants to be there and take control of this South Sydney team as a leader now. And I think he showed signs 2 weeks ago that he actually wants to do that now. So it is good signs for him. It's just about South getting on the back of that and really feeding off his energy, because he's a big game player. Suncorp will be rocking tomorrow night, Broncos' first home game after a successful season last year. It'll be huge. Probably 35, 40,000 or something there. It'd be a really, really big crowd. So I do write South Sydney off, but I'll tell you what, if Latrell gets to Suncorp and has one of these games, would not shock me at all if South Sydney can somehow conjure up a miracle and get the job done. But
He played good.
I hear that.
in Vegas too.
I hear that Suncorp has just been relayed as well, and the base that they've used is again 85% sand. So I don't know if you know about the hooker from South Sydney, but he was a beach sprint champion. So I think that's only going to play in his favour. Sorry, I had to
Is
because
that you,
Adam's not
Adam?
here.
Is that you, Adam?
It would make sense if he's
Big
fast
guy.
on sand.
Yes, it would. To be fair, he was actually half decent in Vegas as well. I thought Damien Cook. I thought he had a very
Yeah.
good game. So the Battle of the West, boys. We've got a couple of us Para fans in here. It's a massive game. Friday night, Penrith versus the Parramatta Eels. Basically, how do we see this one happening? Because we know the Eels have had the wood on the Panthers as of late in regular season footy. When it matters, the big games, you don't really want to go back and think about it, but they absolutely demolish us every time. They just seem to be able to get the job done against us, which hurt. But Mika, as a Para fan, you going in confident or you're going in a bit worried against a team against the Panthers who didn't score on the weekend against Melbourne. Melbourne were very, very good. We've discussed that already. They'll be looking to bounce back, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's how long's it been since Penrith have lost 3 in a row? Like, it doesn't really fill me with confidence, especially because it's at Penrith. I think it'll be a really good game. Every game they've played for the last 4 years, since back to 2020 when Penrith hit form, have been cracking games. Look, if I had to put my house on it, I'd be going Penrith, but I think Para are in with a chance, a really good chance.
You don't have to put your house on it, but if you want to, go ahead. So gamble responsibly, by the
I'll
way.
take the keys.
Is my wife watching? She will be running in here in a second to kick my ass.
Shout out.
Look,
Drop a comment if you are.
I tipped Penrith in my tips. I'll probably get drunk before the game and change to Para.
Oh, there you go, Jez. There's one for you.
He's already tempted him. Do not tempt.
And then he'll text me as soon as he's done it as well. Oh, look at this. I'll go Jesse here now. Who are you looking at for this one to get the bickies?
Penrith, man. I just can't see them losing 3 in a row. Obviously,
it's good to have you on the podcast.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, no, I just look, that game between the Eels and the Panthers is always tough for Penrith. I don't know what happens. I don't know what they do, but they always give them a hard time, the Eels. So, look, if the Eels win, it won't shock me. I'll put it that way. But Panthers losing will shock me just in general. I just think, they're just too good a side to go, 0-3, considering, they did it the same last season. That round 1 against Melbourne, I feel like you could have put anyone up against that team and they would have lost. So that was just unbelievable defense. That was like grand final level footy from Melbourne. So, but yeah, keeping them to 0, you got to think that they're going to want to come out and get some points at least. So I've gone Penrith. I'm not changing that one.
Yeah, that game had to take its toll on Penrith too, now that I think about it, now you mentioned it.
Yeah,
you see
round 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a hectic game. It was a good one.
It was
Big quality for round 1.
Easily the most intense game, I think, of the round, for sure, that game. So, Jez, come on. Let us hear your Penrith Loverfest.
I'm actually really excited to watch this game, and it's because of the matchups that are across the field. So the halves in both sides are really exciting to watch on their day. So for either Penrith to win, all their spine has to be firing. I think their forwards, I don't know, like I only got to listen to the Parramatta game and it sounded like you were bending the Bulldogs backwards every single time you ran the ball. It was the Bulldogs though, but we probably should stop saying that because they're still an NRL first grade side. I just think that this is going to be probably the match of the round and I don't see it being high scoring. I see them belting the living daylights out of each other. I see the halves kicking for field position the whole game. And it'll be interesting to see how Mitchell Moses' leg holds up from this because I think a lot of traffic will be coming his way, especially after he's kicked the ball. There'll be a lot of kick pressure on Mitch Moses, but he is good enough to step up. He's my only one in that team that I thoroughly enjoy. Everyone else can go and get stuffed. But I think Penrith will just be a little bit too strong. I don't see them losing 3 in a row, as we've mentioned. And last week they'd be fuming that they were kept to 0. So I think they'll have a bit of a point to prove here, especially at home. I know it's only just down the road from you guys, but it's going to be a cool game. It's going to be a really cool game.
Yeah, I just want to let the
Adam, you'd be up
Adam,
for
you're not allowed to
dessert
be
by
texting
now.
at the table.
Yeah. Put your phone away. Eat your dessert.
And do not reply
must be
back to
going
that
well.
comment either, Adam. Keep it PG, right? Actually, I think you're after 9 o'clock at some point, so we're good. I'm a bit worried as a Para fan. I really think the Penrith Panthers will be burning after that game against the Melbourne Storm. I do want to quickly talk about the Storm after this because I forgot to mention them, but I thought they were absolutely fantastic. I'll echo what Jesse said on that game, and it'll be interesting to see what we think about the Storm for this season because I think they're a bit underrated, actually. No one's really spoken about them as one of the top 2 or maybe 3 teams in this competition. But the bounce back is a real thing, I think, for Penrith. They've openly, I heard them talking about today, they don't want to start the season 0-2 or 0-3 like they have in the past and have that much pressure on them again to have to get up and basically go must win for a few rounds to get back up there and be in that top 4, top 2 and that where they want to be as a club. So I really think they'll put their foot down. They want to make a mark against the Parramatta Eels, who have beaten them, as I said, in regular season footy consistently. And the thing is, it's actually, I hate hearing it. It's so many people start talking about it as well and just say, oh, the Eels have got the Penrith number now, blah, blah, blah. No, we don't. We don't.
No.
We do get to beat them, fair enough, but I would not say we got their number at all. They are far and away a better team all round. I'll have to admit it, even though it does hurt. I will admit it. So, tipping point of view, if I have to be professional, I will say I've got the Penrith Panthers in a very, very tight one. I am very nervous about Mitchell Moses. Those injuries can come and go, and when they do come on and want to really go on him, I'm very cautious and worried about the effect that it might have on him and potentially an injury. I saw a comment earlier about the fact that this could be sort of an origin halves sort of the battle, but I don't see it that way. If we've already said it, and again, I don't want to talk about it, I'd love to see them both in the side at 7 and 6 and work a way to sort of play together and sort of take the pressure off each other. But that is our origin preview, guys, coming up in a matter of 2 months from now. So we will not get into that at all till we really have to. But yeah, I've got the Penrith Panthers in a close one. I need to get back with some tipping points here because last week 3 out of 8 was horrible. I did talk about the Melbourne Storm, boys. Where are you at after watching that game on the weekend? Round 1, I know, but goodness me, they were the most impressive team, I thought, by some way. Defense wins you comps. We know Craig Bellamy does this year in, year out. He gets his teams up very early. They win round 1, but that was a different sort of Melbourne Storm I seen them going, you know what, we'll beat every team in the competition 6-0 if we have to, and that's just what we'll do, and we'll win the comp. That was a confidence level I seen from them. They were missing Munster. They were missing Safa Solomona as well. 2 huge ins to come into this team. Pappy actually looks, I'd almost say he's 100%. Like, he didn't do any of his magic. I don't think he can against Penrith, but he didn't look hesitant. He was getting into his work, copped his hit against on the eyebrow, which I loved. Just rough him up a bit, show him it's rugby league and he's back into it. Jesse, you're already on the Melbourne Storm, but have they gone up sort of already for your rankings? You got them right up in this competition?
I always consider Melbourne a threat, regardless. I feel like they're one of those teams that you can have no Munster or you can have no Pappy and they'll find a way. Obviously, they showed they could. And, like, you got to remember, too, like, Penrith had that turnaround. Luai was coming back off his injury at the same time, too, whether that made much of a difference. They had no Sorensen. There was all these excuses that you had for Penrith to pretty much lose that game, but it was different. You know, like, Storm had it on. Whether it's Bellamy's last year and they really didn't want him to lose his streak, they've shuffled their forward pack around. You know, they got Loiero at lock now. They'll debut Joe Chan against freaking Penrith. You know what I mean? And he didn't do too much, but he didn't really do anything wrong. But they always just, the system there's so good. They can always find a way to win. And I've still, I can still pretty comfortably say, like, they'll probably make the 4 if they continue that. If they get Munster back in, it's probably going to be after their bye. I was seeing that's probably going to be round 4 onwards if they can sort the groin issue out. But yeah, if he can just slot straight back in and they can continue doing that, man, they'll be flying this year. Just seemed like a different energy about them.
Bloody Head and Shoulders, guys. It's dangerous stuff. Just be very, very careful when you're in the shower using that product. It is extremely slippery, as Cam Munster has told us.
Hey, boy.
Jez, I forget where you predicted them in your ladder, but have they gone up? If you could change it and do a new ladder prediction as of today.
Oh, I think I had the Storm in the top 4 anyway. It's what we're all going to say here is you never doubt the Melbourne Storm and their system that they've got in place. They've always had that next man up mentality. Let's not forget they had Cooper Johns running around for them and looking good. So something is doing well down there in Melbourne. No, I know Cooper. He's a good man. I like him.
Mate, he bagged himself out more than anyone. So
yeah, he'll admit to that one. I think there were still a lot of errors though. It was still a little bit clunky. So for us to sit here and say that they were fantastic defensively, I think statistically they weren't. I think Penrith was still on top, but they found a way to really close Penrith out and shut all their attack down. And to keep any NRL side to 0 is huge, and to do it to Penrith is just the next level. So I think I had them in the top 4, and you never doubt the Melbourne Storm when it comes to consistency.
yeah,
I reckon it'll be in 30 years' time we might see them drop out of the top 8.
Oh, Cameron Smith's kids will be just retiring, and they'll go, "Oh, finally, we can win without that Smith name at hooker once again." Mika, would it surprise you to see him on the grand final stage, lifting that trophy this year?
Absolutely not. I had them in my top 4. They just do all the things you need to do to win footy games right very, very consistently. I think we've all waited for the year when Melbourne have a shocking year and miss the 8. We'd all love to see it, all us non-Melbourne supporters. But somehow they just get it done. So, no, it doesn't surprise me. I think they'll be in the top 4, no dramas.
It's a thing, like being a Para fan, you've just come to hate this Melbourne Storm, but the fact that they continue to be how they are after everything they've copped, you just learn to just respect them, and it just infuriates me. The fact that now there's no hatred towards them, it's just like a respect. I go, you know what, this organization is just actually unreal with what they can do. So the second last one, sorry, the West Tigers, they start their season this week. They're up 9th on the ladder, back to where the good old days were for the West Tigers. I reckon fans would love to see that 9. They would not have been so excited to see that number 9 next to their name.
That's a tough road trip, That's a tough road trip. They were able to get the job done.
Yeah. It's where are we at with them? Because their team list has finally come out. There's been a few little shocks. Lockie Galvin does start for them in the halves, which was expected, I guess, in the last week or so. But before that, we thought no chance at all. But we've seen the Dragons turn it around very, very quickly. Do we think the West Tigers can turn this around, or it's still a case of there's a lot of hard work ahead of Benji Marshall and co for this season, Jez?
Well, I think whatever performance they put on the park in the next couple of rounds is going to be masked by the media going after Benji Marshall. So it's all going to go under the radar anyway, no matter what their results are, no matter who they've got playing for them or how poorly or how well they play. It's all going to be about, is this rock star Benji Marshall coaching style actually going to fit? Or is he just going to blow in and out and then be shipped on? So I think they've got a couple of free passes for their next couple of rounds. They can do whatever the hell they want because Benji's just going to cop the flack no matter.
He already is. He's already come out and said he's on a 24/7 coach, and the media's going in on him about it. So
yeah, he's
honestly,
he arrived late. He arrived 3 hours after the first staffer that got there. Ooh, panic stations.
End of the world.
No, they're a wooden spoon now. Obviously, Benji's not rocking up to work on time, so he's done. He hasn't got there at 3 a.m. He's got there at 6 a.m. How dare him? He didn't get there when the cleaner got there. That's absolutely putrid stuff.
That's it.
Jesse,
they do have though. Sorry, Jesse. They do have rumored to be releasing a heritage jersey this year though. So I think that's going to be really exciting because 1, that means there's going to be a collar, and 2, I think it's from when was their grand final? What year was that?
So
2005.
05.
I think it might be from around there. So that would be really cool if that heritage jersey does get released. But again, it'll be Benji's fault, so
maybe it'll be a Magpies jersey.
Oh, Hey, don't give him that
Hopefully.
much. Come on. How dare
Yeah.
you talk about the Magpies so positively when it comes to
They just take
the
their money.
joint
That's
venture?
all.
How dare you show some Western Suburbs colours on that jersey? But you know what? I thought you were going to say, Jez, they were going to release heritage jerseys celebrating the year they finished ninth. Those couple of years. That's like for the Tigers at the moment. They're really celebrating those
Hey,
finishes. That was
the
very,
Eels are
very high up
releasing
for
a
them.
2001 heritage jersey, so you can't comment.
No.
Hey, we'll take it.
How stupid.
We'll
How
take it.
stupid.
Anyway, back
it's
to the
not a-
Tigers. Back to Benji.
Let's celebrate losing the grand final. How good. Jesse, where are you at with the Tigers?
I have no faith in the Tigers. I feel like ninth is the highest they'll be this whole year, to be honest. Honestly, if they added that next team in next year, then they'll finish 18th, and that'll be their new record low. So, look, I'd love to see it change, but yeah, I can't imagine it will too drastically. Not instantly, anyway. It might be a bit of a process. It's been a process for a long time, and it's been really shit. So, yeah, I can see a third spoon going, but the Finns looked pretty woeful. So, yeah,
We're getting there. That's next. We are getting to the Finns, and I agree that was ugly. Just that quickly, Adam, you've been commenting pretty much the whole episode. That's good. I love the fact that you're still involved with the show. Can you let us know what you're actually doing though? Because I'm just confused as to what was the reason again that you couldn't make tonight? Just
waiting for the
getting
Mac
you
and
there,
Sunday.
How was
watching,
dinner?
listening in.
Mate, you're
How
doing
did you go
date
with
The
night wrong,
steak or the
Adam.
chicken?
You're doing date night wrong, Adam, if you're still able to comment on Facebook so early.
He's got the phone sitting next to him on the table in the middle of him. They're both watching in on the show. Anyway, thanks, Adam. Thanks
Maybe it's a
for
picnic.
currently sitting on
Maybe
the
it's a
shitter.
picnic.
Okay.
Oh,
Thanks
date went
for
well
Date's
then.
going well.
him.
Date's going
Thanks,
really
bro.
well.
He's just cleaning
bad
out the
food. Do you want to
pipes.
give a
It's all right.
Shouldn't have had the
review?
ice cream for dessert.
Jesus Christ.
Mika, West Tigers. Have you got him in your 8? I think you do, don't you?
No, I don't. I actually
okay.
had them as my team to go up a bit, but I just read their team list for the first time
17th.
this year, and I don't know what I was thinking when I said that. I think their forward pack is pretty decent, as decent as it can be given the last few years. But I mean, the halves are a massive letdown. Like they've got these young centers and fullback that could be anything, and then they've got these halves that won't get them the ball in decent positions. I don't think so. I think the Tigers are actually in for another tough year, and if that's the case, then Benji's going to be out the door. His coaching career will be over before it even begun. And I guess that's the club's fault for signing an unproven coach, maybe in hindsight.
I do
Bam.
want
He's
to
a
see
club
what Galvin
legend,
can
mate.
do, but
I want him to do good. I really do. Leichhardt on a Sunday Arvo is amazing. A good going Tigers team is good for the NRL. But I just think they're still paying for years of bad decisions. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Basket case.
Hmm.
I'm with you,
Go
Jesse.
Tigers.
I can't wait to see Lockie Galvin. He's an absolute superstar in the making. I really am a fan of his junior footy and the way he's coming through. The thing I am concerned about is what I've heard today about they've named him because there's other clubs interested in him. So it's a way to sort of keep him and keep him happy at the club, show him that he is wanted here at the West Tigers. And if that is the case, then that is a real worry and concern for mine. If Benji's already catering to a need of a young kid like that just to keep him at the club, the West Tigers should be doing a lot more and just naming their best players. I do think he's should be in the halves. It's a lot of pressure though. He's a good young kid, a quality young kid, but to come into the furnace straight away after the team got decimated, I know it was only trials, but they just looked putrid in it. It wasn't a great trial showing at all. And that was a game they really needed to show that they were wanting to mean business, even though, yep, it's a trial. You just want to get through unscathed. But they've had 3 weeks off as well since then. They haven't played footy for 3 weeks. That's a long time. So it'd be interesting to see whether they come out of the gate full, all guns blazing, or the fact that they didn't get to play last week, everyone else did. They've already got their rust out and they can start playing some combination. And the Tigers are starting from scratch in a way. It'll just be interesting to see how it all comes together, and very, very intriguing to see how they perform on the weekend. But you mentioned the Dolphins, Jesse, and anyone watching on Sunday, obviously the only game on TV on Sunday, so I think a lot of us were just to get our footy fix for the first week Sunday of footy. Oh, hang on, I just read Adam's comments and we're just that's all. Good. Oh, hang on. Do you want me to add that, Jez, or?
Yep.
All right.
So we just
What's
got a photo in from Adam, and he's had the
He looks
cheesecake. He does look
Oh,
sweaty.
he does look sweaty.
And I'm only putting this
What's
photo
wrong?
on here because he had a pot shot at the Knights again.
gone.
So, Adam, you keep digging at the Knights. I'll keep putting up photos of you on the toilet.
What is the go with that haircut? Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
You
know.
can't go on a date
You need to
looking
talk
like
to your
that.
brother about hairstyles there, Michael.
Yeah.
Don the hat.
Look at that melon. My God.
Get that off the screen. Sorry, guys, if you are eating your dessert while watching us or a late dinner and just seen that
That guy in
mug
the
pop
Goonies.
Ruined.
up. Shout out,
deserves
Adam. We're obviously missing you on here, but yeah, the
Guy
Dolphins.
out of the Goonies.
What's his name?
I'm not a monster.
Yeah, that guy. What's his name?
Oh, fuck. We're
need
going
to
to
look
bring
it
it
up.
up comparison.
This is the time of night where we do come undone a
Oh.
bit. The Dolphins are putrid. There is no other way to say it other than the fact that it was
Sloth.
dog.
Sloth. He looks like Sloth.
Oh, I just looked it up.
Hey,
Fuck
you guys.
He's not happy. He's gone off the stream now. He's not happy with this.
Oh, fuck.
He's copped it for once.
Oh, Adam, I'm not putting that next photo up. You need to stop.
Oh goodness
Ball.
me. Anyway, the
Defend.
Dolphins, Jesse, you can start us off because you mentioned it. Just
Oh.
how deplorable was that performance?
It was woeful, man. Everywhere too. You can't even just narrow it down to one area, attack, defense. It was just a shit show. I can't see a Bennett team continuing to be that bad though, for the long term. Obviously he's gone and chopped Tessie New and O'Sullivan out already, so he's swung the axe pretty quick. On a half as well, and just put Katoa in. You know what I mean? He's a young kid. Considering O'Sullivan should have been their experienced half, which kind of takes me back to the point about with the Tigers too, the fact that they haven't put Galvin next to Caesar. They put him next to Sullivan as well. So yeah, just inexperienced. But yeah, I don't know, man. I can't see them being that bad again, but it was really bad. There's worrying signs, and obviously he's done some stuff to fix the team up because of it. But they got battered everywhere. We'll see what happens this week, I suppose. Or have they got to buy?
don't
No, they got to
mind-
buy next week, so they kind of need to get
Yeah,
at least those points for them. So if they can at least get a win
we
this
got
week,
the Dragons. We
yeah,
got the Dragons
the
this week.
Dragons
So it'll be,
they were flying last week, man. That's the thing.
that's what I mean. It'll be an interesting
Oh.
game to see where if that was a fluke for the Dragons, or if that's that's what we're going to get week in, week out from them. And it'd be interesting to see how the Dolphins approach it, because realistically, at the start of the season, they probably would have put this down in permanent marker as a win and a guaranteed 2 points. It's quickly changed, and it's not the case. So it'd be interesting to see the way that they turn up for this game. I don't mind the changes, if I'm being honest. I like the fact that he's actually put them on notice straight away. I don't want to bulldog bash because I've done it a lot this week, but that's what I would have liked to have seen from Serrato, where he's kept the same team and said, I'll stick with what I've thought in the offseason and let him have another chance. I like the fact that Bennett's named his best team last week that he thought in his opinion. They've failed to fire. They've basically put in the worst performance I reckon the Dolphins have put in since their exception. It was horrible. Well, hang on, Miko, what?
Inception.
Oh, Inception, sorry. Inception. But I like he's holding them to account. You've got to early on, I feel like, especially when you're one of those teams who are predicted to be in that bottom 9 teams, in maybe the bottom 4, you've got to hold people accountable. You can't say that they've got a guaranteed spot in the first grade side if they're producing what they've just produced on the weekend. Jez, are you a fan of early changes, or you think there should be pick and stick for a few weeks and see what happens?
Well, being a Knights fan and being on all the Knights forums, we are not about picking and sticking, that's for sure. We want to see our
8
experienced
changes this week?
players getting in there. Yeah, well, we're going to go with 9 halves this week. No, you've got to
Nice.
pick your best players.
Corporate.
Pick your best players the ones that are performing, stick with those guys. Pick the players in the right positions too. Bulldogs, talking to you. But no, unless they're seasoned players that have done it week in, week out for years and years. No, I'm not sure. Not sure about pick and stick. But throw to someone else, because I'm quickly just working on a little visual here that I'm about to share in a little bit.
Oh,
intrigued.
look out. I'll get
Here we go.
Mika's thoughts on the Dolphins while you work on that one. Mika, that performance last week was horrible. Can you see a quick bounce back and a possible victory with this one?
No, I can't. I tipped the Dragons. I think in one of our preseason shows, I spoke about Bennett's coaching and how it might be a little outdated for modern rugby league. The Dolphins looked so unfit. Like, I don't think they trained at all in the off season. It was really bizarre. And as much as I want them to do well, as much as I want them to do well, because I love Mark Nichols. He is just like a big can of tomato soup that just keeps rolling down the field. I can't see him getting up after that performance last week, and the fact that I think Flanagan, if there is one thing that he will bring to a team, because we've already spoken about his coaching record as well, I think it'll be toughness, and I just think the Dragons will be like, I don't think the Dragons are going to do anything special this year by any means, but I think they'll be too tough for the Dolphins in this game after what I saw last week.
Well, they got young Max Plath at lock this week too, and he's been a half.
I was going to say, he's a hooker, isn't he?
Yeah, he played 5'8", I think, or halfback for the Rezzies, but he actually played, I think it was about 10 or so games last year at lock. Decent minutes, decent output. Like, he seems like he can do a good job for him. So he's obviously got a bit of faith in him. You and Aitken back in the second row too. So like, they've gone back to, a couple of the solid blokes anyway. But I just thought not starting with Avarillo was a weird thing, considering they got him there for a good reason, and to just not use him. So yeah, I don't know. Just see. Go on.
Oh, goodness me. I just hope there's a picture that's come through that I have to do share. I'll do that shortly, just after we finish up on this actual talking footy nonsense.
So I'm back now. I can concentrate.
Just with the whole lock thing, it's actually confused me early on, because I feel like this year coaches have, in a way, gone completely off what I feel like a lock was supposed to be, like another front rower who gets in there, gets the meters and stuff. We've seen like the Bulldogs with Semin, now Max Plath. There's a couple others that have sort of that more ball playing role that will come on after the first 20 or 25 minutes. It's sort of moving away from the traditional lock role in a way. And I don't know if I really like that. I think you need to still have that. Like that Cameron Murray for mine is ideal. He's got, and Isaiah Yo, they've both got some ball skills, but they're both quite big men. They can get through their meters. And I think that's the more traditional style, like Jermaine Hopgood as well. I think they're your locks. I don't think like your Simmons or your Max Plath is. I'm surprised, like Kenny Bromwich. I don't know what's happened to him. I think he's on the bench still. But I heard rumors as soon as that I've had a mental blank on his name now, but when he went down with his ACL, Gilbert, he was straight away put down as like the lock, and he just hasn't been seen there. So I don't know what's going on. I'd even entertain the idea of Josh Kerr playing lock. Yeah. I think he could have a real good game there, and he has a pretty good motor on him and looks really good. He looked like the only fit player on the team last week, Josh Kerr. So he's clearly done some at least training where the others have just gone to the pubs. So Jez, what happened to that picture? I was about to show it because I'm happy to wrap this thing up, but it's gone. Anything?
It's coming. Just go to a couple of comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Shoot your questions in before we go. And then me and Jesse will get onto some Supercoach stuff, which isn't live, obviously. It'll be released tomorrow, guys. But just so you get a bit behind the scenes look, we just keep going here, me and Jesse. We are like we are bats. We just keep going into the night. It's ridiculous, but we love our community, and that's what we do for you guys. So
I need to go have an outfit
anything
change
you guys?
too.
No, don't be silly. Just stick with it.
Got to make it
Same
look
shirt.
like it's a new video.
Same shirt.
I'll just turn it backwards.
I'm not. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Dad's got a good one.
Yeah,
what is our opinion on the penalty try? Was it a penalty try last week,
soft.
or was it not?
That was soft. No,
it was not. No, it was not. I finally saw what we were all talking about because I had to listen to that one as well. It was nowhere near the ball. How can you award that a penalty try? You are saying for certain that he is going to be first to the ball and he's going to ground it in the end goal? Mate,
I
they're
suppose
drunk. They're all
considering
drunk.
how good Labour was that game, there's a fair chance to say that he probably would have, realistically. But you can't assume it. And then the same thing as well. Like go back to the Broncos Roosters game, where Reece Walsh just comes in, shoulder fucking barges Tupou, I think it was, sends him
Mm.
flying. That's not a penalty try, apparently. I think he had more of a chance than Labour would have, realistically.
Yep, I agree.
Um,
I totally
so
agree with that.
I don't see that. I know obviously they probably were trying to go for like the whole Vegas highlight reel thing, but they didn't want to bin their trophy boy, you know, eyeliner Walsh, sick of him. But
He's so pretty though.
that
He is so pretty.
isn't he? Oh my god, that hair, it just bounces.
It's his
Um,
eyes. It's his eyes, man. It's his eyes. There's love in
Yeah.
them
Oh,
eyes.
it's been hot in here.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, it's in the
Whew.
aircon on. But I think, yeah, obviously consistency in the NRL don't really go hand in hand too often. But yeah, I don't know about that one.
That's
I-
a good
I
question,
actually,
that
I don't
last
think
one here.
I've seen penalty
Yeah,
tries given
there's a
10 metres
couple.
out, so I wasn't surprised.
You know what?
No, not
Normally we ask
surprised,
the
but-
questions. Normally we ask the questions, they don't come in, so we just quickly wrap it up. But this time we've had a fair few come in, so we might be another minute or two. Andrew, look, quickly for yours. If Ashley might want to reach out, please reach out to the show. If you want to sponsor us, we're happy to have you on board. Just reach out and we'll have a chat about things. With your other thing, I don't know what your questions
Advanced
are.
hair,
Just send them back
yeah.
through and
I'd love to be able to grow a mohawk again, because at the moment when I try, I get one mohawk at the top, kind of half one, then a gap, and then a
Can't do it.
mohawk down the back. It's like 2 mohawks for the price of one. I'd love to be able to grow a proper mohawk again. So yeah, Ashley and Martin, give us a shout.
Yeah, any representatives, please contact me tomorrow. Happy to chat. Jesus Christ. Here we go. Both. Oh yeah, no, that's not a question. That's just Dad's.
The one
What
under,
were
the
you?
one
I
under.
can't. I
one
can't
under.
find
Here
your
we go.
questions on.
What teams? Yeah, Andrew, I can't see your questions. So if you want to quickly throw them in. But
Yeah.
I've lost them in amongst everything tonight. It's been crazy tonight's comments. Love it. What teams do you want to see at Vegas next year? So 4. Quickly, everyone just put their 4 down that comes straight to mind. I'm going to say this. I reckon they'll have 4 different teams next year. I think they'll spread the love.
They will.
Mika, who are your 4?
I don't know. You put me on the spot. I reckon they'll take
right.
a team from Queensland. They'll take the Warriors. They'll take Melbourne and a Sydney team.
Panthers.
There you go. Panthers.
I've
Yeah,
gone
probably Panthers.
Panthers, Storm, Warriors, and my Knights.
Para.
But only because of Kalen Ponga, and he is a marketing.
Yeah, true.
You've got to send your best marketing things overseas. So that would be my only
Yeah.
reason.
I'm with Jez. I reckon you hit the nail on the head with those 4. I think
Mm.
there's a lot of talk about the Warriors being definitely one that goes over. Penrith, because their stadium's getting upgraded next year, so looks like they'll get the green light. The Storm have been spoken about as well, so I think you're right with the Ponga shout as well. Jesse, you got any different?
Nah, not really. They're very marketable teams. I think if you went there with anyone less, it would kind of just be a bit of a disappointment. The 4 teams they
Tigers,
picked this year were,
Titans, Dolphins.
yeah, that's it. Fuck, you wouldn't wake up for it. But
Sharks.
like, obviously, it was the battle of the fullbacks, this year. Like, you look at all 4 of them, and they were absolute weapons of the game. So, yeah, I think you pretty much nailed it with that. Can't see anyone else.
Look,
Andrew's
I'll
found
take
it.
the last couple of quick ones from Andrew so we can wrap things up. Risky Mo's a bad thing or good thing. Look, if he's fit and healthy, you got to play him against one of the big rivalries for Parramatta, the Panthers. It is a risk if he does niggle. I just take him straight off. You don't want to risk anything, but yeah, I guess it's a good thing at the moment. You need him on the field to lead the boys around. There's a few others. Look, we just can't get to it. We've got to go. We're already over time. Boys have got to get to sleep, and some of us have to start another one. There's one more question for you, Jez, and I'm going to leave with what we want to leave with. Adam Martin, will the Knights go 0-5 to start the year?
Yes. Well, Adam knows that he can go and get and I really
I love
am
that.
sick of all these Knights pot.
That's the best photo ever.
But yes, probably if the Knights continue to play the way that they are, I don't know what you're reacting to, by the way. If the Knights continue to play the way that they are, they're probably staring down an 0-5, and that's going to be really hard to come back from to answer Adam Martin's question.
Love the hair as well. Fucking hell.
Yes. Oh my god. That is all time. Producer Jez is back, I see. And that is what is going on?
There's one for the YouTube.
Holy shit. Sorry, Adam.
Anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap things up. There's been all sorts of damage done in the last 10 seconds. So we're out of here.
shit.
Thank you for joining us, being a part of things. Wednesday night, as you know, 7:30 Queensland time at the moment, 8:30 New South Wales time. Each and every week we will be here for you. Make sure you come back and tune in next week. It is always good fun, good chatting footy with everyone. I really appreciate everyone getting involved tonight. You've made the episode what it has been, and up there with one of our best. So if you do want to vote for Jesse to be back and be one of the regulars,
Highlight that comment, please.
God.
Only if you're at the Dell.
good night, everyone. Have a great night. Hope you rewatch this episode if you haven't already. It's been a classic.